In the quiet darkness of history's forgotten corners, there lies a world often dismissed as mere legend, myth, or a construct of overactive minds seeking to fill the gaps left by time. But what if these gaps aren't gaps at all? What if they hide truths so profound that their very erasure was a necessary act of concealment? It begins with a faint whisper, a whisper turned into a murmur, that echoes through the corridors of ancient maps and fading legends. Tartaria. Imagine the shrouded inkings on old parchment, cartography dating back centuries, depicting vast lands stretching beyond the known world, territories that seem impossibly expansive, filled with monumental structures and cities that defy the technological limitations of their time. These maps, meticulous yet mysteriously inconsistent, present a puzzle that beckons us to look closer. Who drew these lines? What stories did they encode within their borders? Why do some of these lines seem to disappear or fade under layers of subsequent censorship and rewriting? The legend of Tartaria is woven into these ancient documents. It appears as a sprawling empire, covering what we now call Eurasia, with sprawling cityscapes, colossal architecture, and advanced knowledge that seems anachronistic for its supposed era. Long before the rise of modern nation-states, Tartaria stood as a civilization of sophistication, strength, and enigma. But as centuries passed, the stories began to shift, the maps grew less detailed, and Tartaria was erased from the collective consciousness. An intentional erasure. The early myths surrounding Tartaria tell of a land of incredible technological prowess, of buildings that touched the sky, and knowledge that surpassed the limits of their time. Row upon row of irrefutable legends, stories handed down across generations, speak of enormous cityscapes with pyramid-like structures and arcades, of mighty walls and intricate bridging systems that defy the constraints of the period. Why don't we see these again? Why do modern histories insist that such civilizations never existed? Was it simply a matter of lost knowledge, or was it something more sinister? Ancient maps whisper a story of secrecy. They hint at a civilization that wasn't just forgotten but deliberately obscured. Some say the drawings were more than mere artistic renderings. They were coded messages, archaeological maps infused with layers of hidden meaning. As explorers, historians, and conspiracy theorists pore over these documents, patterns emerge. Symbols, alignments, even certain measurements that seem to point toward an overarching design, something deliberately concealed. There are legends of grand cathedrals, of underground cities and vast tunnels stretching beneath the earth, remnants of a technologically advanced society that predates the history we are told. Many claim evidence of unnatural constructions, structures that don't match the tools or capabilities supposedly available at their supposed time, shrouded in mystery and doubt. Could these be the vestiges of Tartaria? Or mere artifacts of imagination and error? Yet, when one digs deeper into ancient texts, associations, stories, and scripts, there's an uncanny consistency in descriptions of a lost empire, one that wielded influence across continents and epochs. What about the supposed evidence? There are countless relics, architecture, and geological anomalies that defy straightforward explanation. Cities with incredibly precise stonework, buildings aligned with astronomical phenomena, massive foundations that resemble remnants of a lost civilization's power. In some cases, these structures have been deliberately obscured or labeled as natural formations, dismissed as mere geological oddities. But take a closer look. Do they align with the myths? Do they fit the narrative of a mighty empire erased from history? Throughout history's narrative, a recurring theme emerges: control. Whether it's the control of knowledge, of history, or of power itself, the pattern is clear. There are those who would rather the world forget Tartaria. Why? Because within its myths and remnants lies the seeds of a different narrative, a narrative of human potential, of advanced knowledge, of temples built with precision and purpose. A story that challenges the accepted history, a history written by the victorious, edited and sanitized. As we peer into these maps, legends, and relics, questions multiply. What secrets do these old documents hide within their faded ink? Could they be laying bare the truth about a civilization that once spanned continents? Why was it erased so thoroughly that the very existence of Tartaria is dismissed as impossible or a conspiracy? Was it a deliberate act of cultural genocide, an attempt to rewrite history and suppress the trail of a powerful, advanced society? In the shadows of the old world, buried beneath layers of myth and manipulation, the foundations of Tartaria remain. They rest beneath the surface of our collective memory, waiting to be rediscovered, re-examined, and understood. Because in the end, the maps don't just show land. They reveal secrets woven into the very fabric of history, secrets that threaten to upend everything we think we know about our past. And as the darkness settles over these mysteries, one question remains hanging in the air. What lies beneath the layers of erasure? What truths did they try to erase, and why? The quest for answers begins now. In the shadowed corridors of history, where the line between fact and legend blurs, there exists a mysterious tapestry woven with threads of grandeur and subtlety, hinting at a civilization once pulsing with unrivaled power. This is the story of Tartaria, a name whispered in hushed tones, half forgotten, yet forever etched in the collective consciousness of those who seek to uncover what was intentionally erased from our historical narrative. How could a civilization so advanced and influential vanish as if it had never existed? What secrets did it hold that threatened the established stories we cling to? Imagine vast landscapes stretching beyond the horizons we know, where colossal structures reach into the sky, their stones meticulously cut and precisely aligned, defying the age and technology of their time. These architectures, with their grand domes, intricate facades, and monumental arches, tell a story of engineering prowess that surpasses anything documented in conventional history. They stand silent yet commanding, a testament to a civilization that once thrived with ingenuity and purpose. Could it have been an intentional display of the Tartarian mastery over science and artistry, or merely remnants of a forgotten epic? Advances in technology within Tartaria appear to challenge the archaeological record. Some remnants suggest the existence of devices that harnessed energy from the Earth itself, resonance technologies that allowed for communication or even navigation far beyond what is known as the period's technological capabilities. Such hypotheses stir controversy. Were these merely speculative ideas, or was Tartaria armed with innovations that predate our understanding by centuries? Could they have developed sustainable energy sources that rendered their civilization thriving, self-sufficient, and possibly unassailable? The evidence remains elusive, yet compelling: mysterious electrical grids embedded into the landscape, geometric alignments that correspond with celestial patterns, and artifacts bearing symbols whose origins are shrouded in secrecy. As the alleged influence of Tartaria expands beyond architecture and technology, whispers emerge of the civilization's reach. Some theorists propose that Tartaria's influence extended across vast territories, embedding itself within the cultural, technological, and even genetic fabric of other civilizations. Maps from centuries past seem to depict a different world, a world under a different geopolitical reality, where Tartarian monuments are scattered across continents, their purpose obscured but their presence undeniable. Could these be remnants of a global empire, connected by a network of knowledge and power that spanned continents and oceans? The question then becomes: How did Tartaria ascend to such a formidable position? Was it through sheer innovation, a unifying belief system, or perhaps a mastery of energies and resources that others could not comprehend? Some believe that their rise was orchestrated by a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos, enabling them to harness universal energies, an art lost or hidden when their civilization supposedly fell. Others speculate that internal strife, external invasions, or clandestine manipulations led to their decline, causing a swift and mysterious disappearance that history conveniently forgets. The sudden vanishing of Tartaria is the crux of the enigma, a shadow cast over the collective memory of mankind. The once mighty structures stand as silent witnesses to a civilization erased from the pages of history, replaced by narratives that conveniently sideline their existence. Institutions and governments, perhaps, could have intentionally hidden the truth, keeping the knowledge of Tartaria locked behind layers of misinformation, archaeological smog, or cultural amnesia. Why hide a civilization so advanced, unless its teachings and technologies represented a threat to those who sought dominance and control? Perhaps the most unsettling aspect is this: what was lost when Tartaria disappeared? With its secrets vanished, humanity was left in an intellectual and technological darkness, stumbling through cycles of progress and regression. Were the ancient architects of Tartaria the custodians of a universal wisdom, an understanding of energy, consciousness, and the cosmos that could elevate civilization to new heights? Or was it the existence of such a civilization that threatened the status quo, prompting a systematic erasure? As we peer into the remnants, strange artifacts, unsettling alignments, and the countless structures that continue to defy explanation, questions multiply. We wonder if the clues are buried beneath the debris, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those brave enough to challenge the accepted stories. What if the true origins of Tartaria are intertwined with cosmic phenomena, ancient knowledge, and a collective human history that was deliberately curated and concealed? The narrative of Tartaria, once dismissed as mere myth, now beckons us to reconsider what we have been told. The empire's rise suggests a civilization that, through ingenuity and mastery, once shaped the world in ways we are only beginning to understand. Their mysterious disappearance beckons us to ask, what truths are we still afraid to uncover? And what legacy of knowledge and power could still be buried beneath the layers of history, awaiting rediscovery by those daring enough to seek the shadows of a forgotten empire? In this ongoing search, we are reminded that history is not just what has been recorded but also what has been purposefully hidden. The echoes of Tartaria remain a haunting whisper, a call to question, explore, and ultimately uncover the truths that were tried, and perhaps intentionally, erased. In the shadowed corners of history, where the truth often slips through the cracks of memory, a question lingers. How did a vast civilization like Tartaria vanish from the maps? No, it's not just a tale woven by conspiracy theorists or an anomaly of cartography. It's a mystery that whispers invitations to uncover layers of politics, secrecy, and ambition buried beneath centuries of silence. Imagine a time when maps were not just tools of navigation but repositories of power, stories, and truths. Tartaria, once sprawling across what is now Eurasia, was a name etched into the collective consciousness, a civilization thriving with unknown advancements, towering structures, and intricate societies. Yet, suddenly, it was erased, from the cartographic records, from historical documents, from the collective understanding of our shared past. As if it never existed. The first anomaly we confront is the peculiar gaps on ancient maps. Cartographers of the 16th and 17th centuries, from the age of exploration, meticulously documented the world, yet no consistent mention of Tartaria appears. Instead, the land is often depicted as a blank space or a mythical land. Was this a genuine lack of knowledge or deliberate obfuscation? Some suggest it was a form of control, erasing a powerful civilization that could threaten established narratives. In the chronicles that survived, few mention Tartaria beyond fleeting references. Its architecture, descriptions hinting at technological marvels, are dismissed as legend or exaggeration. But what if these accounts, dismissed as myth, hold fragments of a forgotten reality? The sudden absence of detailed records suggests an orchestrated effort rather than mere historical oversight. After all, history has often been rewritten again, to serve the interests of those in power. Layered within this enigma are the political motives. The period marking Tartaria's supposed disappearance coincides with major shifts, conquests, empire building, and ideological suppression. Could rival powers have viewed Tartaria as a threat? Its advanced architecture and technological hints could imply a civilization far ahead of its time, resources, knowledge, or strategic advantages potentially destabilizing the emerging order. Some theorists propose that the erasure was a calculated move to control humanity's collective memory. By removing Tartaria from all references, the narrative was simplified. What was left was a myth, an empty land, a blank slate. This suppression ensured that future generations would grow up disconnected from their true heritage, forging new identities rooted in manipulated histories. A strategic rewriting that silenced the voices of a proud civilization that once thrived. Furthermore, the cover-ups extend beyond maps and texts. The remnants of Tartarian architecture mysteriously disappeared or were repurposed. Grand structures, unmatched in craftsmanship, are often dismissed as ancient reconstructions, war ruins, or natural formations. But mounting evidence suggests that many of these edifices possess a precision that defies conventional architectural understanding, a precision that hints at lost knowledge and technology deliberately concealed. Is it plausible that entire cities, powered by unknown energies, were dismantled, hidden, or deliberately destroyed? Some whisper of a Great Reset, a socio-political transformation where sources of knowledge and power were reined in, civilizations suppressed to fit a narrative suited to only a handful of ruling entities. These entities, it seems, sought not just control over land, but over the narrative of human history itself. As we delve deeper, rational explanations collide with the inexplicable. The hypothesis of a catastrophic event wiping out Tartaria seems less convincing than the idea of an organized effort to erase its legacy. Gunpowder, invaders, natural catastrophes. These are common excuses, yet the patterns don't hold consistently. Many structures remain standing, many artifacts are hidden away in secret vaults, awaiting discovery. Their preservation suggests more than neglect, it indicates preservation for future revelation. These theories compel us to ask, could the strategic reason behind erasing Tartaria be rooted in a desire to control technological heritage? To rewrite history so comprehensively that a civilization with advanced wisdom becomes a footnote, a myth, or erased entirely? Perhaps Tartaria's downfall was not merely a war or natural disaster but an orchestrated silence, a geopolitical move to marginalize a threat and secure dominance over the narrative of mankind's progress. And yet, what remains of Tartaria's truth? Despite the systemic effort to erase it, fragments leak through the cracks, strange symbols, architectural alignments, and mysterious artifacts. They suggest a knowledge legacy that predates current accepted histories, hinting that the purpose behind its disappearance was not just geopolitical, it was existential. To control the story of human enlightenment, of technological evolution that might challenge the current power structures. Could a hidden network of information still exist? Underground vaults filled with forbidden knowledge? Secret societies guarding relics that could rewrite what we believe about our origins? The possibility ignites a flicker of hope that in unraveling this mystery, we might reclaim the lost chapters of history, restore a sense of wholeness to our origins, and perhaps confront the broader question: who truly controls our past, and why? As we peer into the shadows of this enigma, the true picture remains elusive. But one thing is certain: somewhere beneath the dust of ages, beyond the lies and cover-ups, a story of human potential persists, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The erasure of Tartaria was not just a loss of history, it was a suppression of human possibility itself. And perhaps, someday soon, the echoes of a once great civilization will break through the silence, reminding us that history is never truly erased, only hidden for a time. In the quiet, shadowed corners of history, there are stories that refuse to stay buried, whispers that refuse to fade. Evidence hidden in plain sight. A phrase that seems innocuous, but carries the weight of secrets long kept, quietly woven into the fabric of our modern world. As the camera drifts over sprawling cities, ancient ruins, and forgotten relics, the viewer is drawn into a tapestry of mystery, an ongoing search for answers that challenges the very notion of what we believe to be history. The shot begins with a sweeping view of a city skyline at dusk. Modern skyscrapers tower over streets filled with life, yet amid this vibrant landscape, there are structures that seem strangely out of place. Grand arches, towering facades, and intricate stonework, patterns that echo designs seen in ancient civilizations, yet appear seamlessly integrated into the contemporary setting. They stand as silent witnesses, as if waiting to reveal a secret. Moving through the ruins scattered across continents, mysterious stone formations, crumbling temples, and enigmatic artifacts, one cannot ignore the uncanny similarities that bridge time and culture. The camera lingers on arches that resemble those found in medieval castles, but with stonework that predates what we have documented. In South America, ancient carved stones suggest advanced knowledge of geometry, aligned precisely with celestial bodies, yet their purpose remains obscured. On the other side of the world, relics in remote mountain regions reveal carvings and structural techniques that defy conventional chronology. The focus tightens on a seemingly ordinary building tucked away in a forgotten village. Its facade bears reliefs that appear purposeful, almost intentional, as if encoding a message. Digital overlays identify the symbols, revealing their resemblance to known Tartarian motifs, ornate, complex, and eerily out of sync with the era in which the structure was supposedly built. The camera zooms in on the carvings, intricate depictions of worlds, geometric patterns, and strange machinery, each artifact whispering of a civilization long erased from history. As the footage transitions to digital overlays and planar recreations, a narrative begins to emerge. These structures, carefully analyzed, reveal construction techniques using materials and engineering methods that astonish modern architects. Massive stones cut with precision, interlocking with such perfection that it challenges our understanding of ancient technology. The framing shifts, highlighting the puzzles. How could civilizations lacking modern tools achieve such feats? How do these relics align across continents and cultures, suggesting a shared knowledge or common origin? In the depths of remote caves, explorers uncover artifacts embedded within rock layers that defy conventional dating methods. Metal objects with complex inscriptions, crystal devices, and relics with electrical properties hint at a forgotten technology. These are not just relics, they are clues, fragments of a larger puzzle that suggests a civilization possessing advanced capabilities, one that predates recorded history. The narrative deepens, posing a question that resonates through the silence. Are these relics remnants of Tartarian civilization? The name itself, almost mythical, haunts the mind with the echoes of a vast empire that once spanned continents, its existence obscured deliberately by the passage of time. Perhaps the remnants of this civilization are hiding in plain sight, concealed within the architecture of our modern world, waiting for us to connect the dots. As night falls, the scene shifts to a montage of modern research, scientists, historians, and conspiracy analysts, scrutinizing these relics with awe and suspicion. Techniques like laser scanning, spectral analysis, and digital reconstruction unearth evidence of anomalous energy signatures, unusual alignments, and hidden chambers. Suddenly, what once seemed mundane transforms into something extraordinary. Throughout the visuals, the soundtrack hums with tension, a subtle, persistent reminder that truth often lurks just beneath the surface, sometimes hidden in the plain sight of our own history. The narrative probes, inviting the audience to question: why are we told that history is fixed? Who benefits from rewriting our past? And could these structures be the physical remnants of Tartarian technology, architecture, or even consciousness, an ancient power that was erased to serve a different narrative? The final moments evoke a sense of awakening. The camera retraces its steps, zooming out from the detailed carvings and artifacts to the broader picture, an intricate web connecting every piece of evidence. The puzzle pieces canvassed across history, archaeology, and digital reconstruction begin to coalesce into a compelling narrative, one that suggests that the truth of Tartaria's existence is woven into the very structures we see around us, waiting to be uncovered. And as the echoes of the past threaten to drown out the noise of the present, the question remains: are these relics hiding in plain sight, silent witnesses to a lost civilization, reminding us that the true scope of our history may be far beyond what we've accepted? Perhaps the answer isn't just in the stones and symbols, but in our own willingness to look beyond what is accepted and into what has been deliberately concealed. Because sometimes, the greatest truths are the ones closest at hand, hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to notice. In the shadowed corridors of history, whispers echo of a civilization that once stood at the very cusp of technological achievement, Tartaria. It's a name often dismissed because acknowledging its truths would rewrite the very story we so comfortably cling to. But what if Tartaria's greatest secrets, its free energy devices, its architectural marvels, its scientific discoveries, were hidden away not by chance, but by design? What if the suppression was profound enough to erase an entire chapter of human potential? Imagine wandering through endless sprawling cities that defy our modern understanding of engineering, massive domes and intricate gateways, all built with a precision that surpasses even our most advanced technologies today. Structures that appear to whisper secrets from a forgotten age, their construction techniques so alien yet so advanced that contemporary historians dismiss them as mere mysteries of remote architecture. The stones, massive, perfectly fitted, no mortar, no visible effort of pressing or binding, defy logic, challenge the boundaries of what we believe is possible with ancient craftsmanship. How did they do it? What tools did they wield? And crucially, why would we not want to find out? This isn't simply conjecture. There are documents, drawings, and remnants scattered across the ruins. If one dares to look beyond the official narrative, that hint at energy systems far beyond our current capabilities. Free energy devices, powered by principles that resonate with modern electrical theories but are far more advanced, sit buried beneath layers of dust and government suppression. These devices, if ever brought back to light, could free humanity from dependence on polluting fossil fuels and revolutionary energy grids controlled by powerful interests. In caves, hidden chambers, and beneath layers of history's fog, some researchers believe there is evidence of scientific breakthroughs long suppressed, breakthroughs that could propel us into an era of abundance and sustainability. Could the ancient Tartarians have harnessed the Earth's natural energies, magnetic, geothermal, Tesla-like in their understanding, to generate power that required no fuel, no consumables? Such ideas shake the foundation of what we've been told about technological progress. Could these secrets still be buried beneath modern cities, their potential locked away because revealing them might threaten the control of established power structures? But the question remains: what advanced scientific achievements, what technological marvels did Tartaria hold? Some argue that they possessed knowledge of anti-gravity or levitation, capabilities that would make modern aerospace technology look primitive. In several isolated testimonies and legends, there are references to artifacts and carvings depicting skyships or floating structures, an echo of a time when humanity's relationship with technology was radically different and far more harmonious with natural laws. If these devices and techniques were indeed real, why is there a concerted effort to cover them up? Who benefits from an amnesia about such freedoms? What about the construction techniques that enabled these immense structures to stand the test of time? Our modern engineers marvel at their precision, yet few dare to ask the fundamental question: what tools or methods made such perfect fitting possible? If ancient Tartarians had access to a technology that allowed materials to be sized and assembled with such exactness, then we are not just looking at architectural feats. We are peering into a repository of lost knowledge that could revolutionize everything from construction to transportation. Yet, disinformation and suppression have kept these truths out of reach. The narrative woven by mainstream history is carefully curated, using time-worn stories of lost civilizations, mythical ruins, and pseudoscience, while dismissing any evidence that could threaten the established order. Many researchers have vanished, others have been ridiculed into silence, and the information regarding Tartaria's advanced tech has been marginalized or destroyed. The numbers, the diagrams, the testimonies, all painted over with a cloak of skepticism. So, we are left to wonder, what if we could recover this knowledge? What if hidden within ancient texts or beneath layers of earth and debris, the secrets of clean, limitless energy are waiting to be rediscovered? Could unveiling these technologies help solve modern crises, climate change, energy scarcity, or even political unrest? The implications stretch beyond mere curiosity. They threaten to destabilize our entire understanding of history, science, and our human evolution. But this pursuit is not without danger. Those who have benefited from the current paradigm fiercely oppose any revelations that might democratize this ancient power. The suppression is layered, insidious, directing public focus away from these truths through misinformation campaigns, distractive distractions, and the rewriting of history itself. It's as if a vast web of denial and control has woven around the very fabric of what we believe to be human progress. And yet, the questions persist. What rumors remain in the shadows? What relics are hidden in remote corners of the world, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover the truth? How many inventions, forgotten and buried, could alter the course of civilization if they were brought back to light? Could the key to renewed global prosperity lie in acknowledging and understanding what Tartaria once mastered? Technologies that might have the power to elevate humanity to a new era of enlightenment? Such mysteries beckon not just the curious, but the revolutionaries, the ones willing to challenge the confines of accepted science and history. The truth is elusive. It hides in the cracks of accepted narratives, in the footprints of civilizations that once shimmered with knowledge so profound that its echoes still ripple through the fabric of our reality. Each secret uncovered could serve as a reminder that beneath the surface of history lies a world of potential, waiting to be awakened, waiting to redefine who we are and what we can become. And as this chapter closes, the question remains: what time will it be when we finally decide to unearth Tartaria's lost secrets? Will we have the courage to look beyond the manufactured narrative, to seek out the truths that could liberate us from the chains of control? Or will those secrets remain buried, unspoken and forgotten, as humanity marches forward blind to its true potential? The answers lie buried deep, in a world that once knew how to harness the universe's greatest powers, powers that could, in the right hands, light the way into a new dawn. In the quiet shadows of history, there lies a persistent question: who benefits from erasing entire civilizations? The story of Tartaria, a vast, once thriving empire, now whispered only in forgotten corners of the internet, serves as a chilling reminder that the narratives of the past are often as manipulated as the maps that outline our world. As the dust of centuries settles, it's impossible to ignore that beneath the layers of omission and distortion, there are those who have wielded power not just through conquest, but through the silence that follows. They confine history within the limits of what is convenient, revealing only fragments that serve their ambitions. In every empire that has risen and fallen, power struggles have woven themselves into the fabric of history. Empires, kingdoms, and nations, each claiming to write the truth, but it's often the victors who control the final narrative. Tartaria's supposed existence, its grandeur wiped away, perhaps deliberately, raises profound questions about whose stories are preserved and whose are purged. What architects of history feared the truth might reveal: that civilizations of impressive sophistication once thrived across vast territories, their remains buried or erased, leaving only tantalizing hints and fractured timelines. Look back at the colonial powers, Europe, notably, who reshaped the world map through conquest and subjugation. During these epochs of colonization, entire cultures, religions, technologies, and histories were deliberately suppressed or reshaped to serve the dominance of empire. Language was replaced, artifacts confiscated or destroyed, knowledge lost to the ravages of conquest. Across continents, Africa, Asia, the Americas, there's a pattern: the erasure of indigenous histories and the imposition of a narrative controlled from afar. Colonial powers understood that control over history is power over identity, sovereignty, and the very consciousness of a people. By rewriting the story, they ensured their dominion endured, long after the guns had fallen silent. Yet, the destruction of Tartaria may not have just been about conquest or suppression. It hints at something deeper: a desire to hide perhaps even more advanced knowledge and technology, remnants of an era that challenges the very foundations of modern history. Could it have been about preventing certain truths that could threaten entrenched power? Knowledge that might dismantle accepted paradigms or inspire resurgence of forgotten civilizations? A suppressed history could serve as a warning. When a civilization is erased, a piece of humanity's collective memory is lost forever, and control over the narrative is cemented further, secured by the shadows of concealment. Mapping our world is no innocent act. Maps, those seemingly neutral representations of land, borders, and territories, are themselves acts of power. The creation of a map is an assertion of authority, a declaration of what is true and what is not. When entire regions, like Tartaria, are omitted or distorted on those maps, it's a statement. This is what is real, and that which is outside the scope of our narrative does not exist. Who controls these maps controls the story of our civilization's boundaries, origins, and progress. But today, in the digital age, the narrative is a battlefront. The internet, an open space for information, misinformation, and conspiracy, serves as a battleground where truths once buried beneath layers of official history are challenged and reconstructed. The question lingers: who truly controls the story of history and maps today? Governments, shadowy agencies, academia, corporations? Or is it a collective effort, an ongoing struggle, where truth fights to surface from the depths of manipulation? Secret societies, think tanks, and influential elites have long understood that knowledge is power. By controlling what is taught, what is recorded, what is remembered, they shape the very perception of reality. The erasure of Tartaria could well have been a part of this global chess game, a strategic move to hide technologies, achievements, or philosophies that might threaten modern hierarchies. Imagine a civilization, advanced, harmonious, with knowledge that could revolutionize energy or architecture, silenced and buried. Their existence, erased in the shadows, ensures that the narrative remains in the hands of those who benefit from its omission. Yet, amid this darkness, whispers of resistance flicker. Researchers, explorers, and historians, with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity, question what's been concealed. They push boundaries, seeking to uncover clues, to reconstruct a picture of a forgotten world that refuses to be silenced fully. Satellite imagery, ancient texts, architectural anomalies, all become pieces of a puzzle that may, someday, challenge the stories we've been told. In the end, it's a question of agency. Who owns the story? Who has the right to decide what is remembered and what is erased? Is history an objective record or a malleable narrative shaped by those with the power to write it? The more we peel back the layers of deception, the more urgent this question becomes. Because the true control isn't just about maps or texts, it's about shaping perception, controlling consciousness, and determining humanity's collective future. As the shadows of history stretch into the present, our gaze turns once more to the erased civilizations, like Tartaria, whose existence hints at a fuller, richer story of human achievement. They remind us that history is not static. It's a constantly evolving battleground, where truths are buried or unearthed depending on the interests of those who hold the reins. And in this ongoing struggle for narrative control, the real question remains: who will be brave enough to uncover what has been hidden, and who will continue to quiet those echoes they tried so desperately to erase? The screen flickers to life with a foggy, digital landscape, a universe of tangled data and shards of ancient images suddenly materializing from the abyss of the unknown. It's a quiet dawn of revelation, an awakening in the shadowed corners of history long dismissed or erased. Recent digs, new testimonies, and a surge of digital excavations are stirring the deepest doubts about what history once told us. Could these discoveries be the key to unraveling the dark, hidden truth of Tartaria? The question hangs heavy in the air as the narrative inched forward, pushing the boundaries of our understanding. On a cold, bitter night, in a remote corner of the world, an archaeologist uncovers what first seemed like an ordinary wall, until her flashlight flickered over intricate carvings, strange symbols unfamiliar to the modern eye. It was as if a new language, forgotten by time, had been rediscovered. The carvings depicted towering structures and elaborate machines that defied conventional architecture, part of a civilization that had once thrived across vast lands. Lands that many once believed were merely myths now bubbling to the surface with undeniable evidence. Not far from this discovery, a digital team scours satellite images, today's modern tools transforming the landscape into an enormous puzzle. They highlight anomalies, vast, symmetrical layouts buried beneath centuries of sediment, structures that seem impossible by today's engineering standards. These are not mere ruins, they are relics of sophistication, ingenuity, and perhaps, of a forgotten empire. The images flood social media channels, igniting debates that ripple across the internet. Could these floating images be the missing links in the grand tapestry of history? Could they be proof that Tartaria, a name dismissed, ridiculed, dismissed as mere legend, was real? The testimonies of witnesses are as chilling as they are compelling. An elderly man, living miles away from any urbanized area, speaks of strange sightings, massive metallic constructions shimmering just beneath the surface of his land, machinery that hums with an unnatural energy, structures that suggest a civilization far more advanced than previously acknowledged. His words, captured on a dusty tape recorder, resonate with a haunting authenticity. He speaks of shadows moving within the ruins at dusk, of silent echoes that linger long after the sunset. His account, once dismissed as paranoia, now joins a chorus of voices that refuse to stay silent. In the shadows of these revelations, a new wave of digital research emerges. Scholars pore over ancient maps, blurry photographs, and fragmented texts. They dig deeper into esoteric archives, uncovering fragments of writings, symbols, and legends, stories of a civilization that once spanned the Eurasian landmass, known for its monumental architecture and technological prowess. Yet, for centuries, these clues were dismissed as anomalies or lost in the sands of time. Now, with modern technology, they are re-examined, reconstructed, giving rise to a new narrative, one that challenges what we thought we knew. Images of towering, ornate gateways, massive, seemingly impossible structures, surface once again, their purpose shrouded in mystery. Could they be portals, laboratories, or remnants of a civilization that mastered energy and construction in ways incomprehensible to us today? The more these images are analyzed, the more questions rise from the depths of our collective conscious. If Tartaria was real, if its vast cities, technological marvels, and cultural achievements were more than myth, then what truly happened? Why did history rewrite itself? Why are there so many gaps, so many secrets buried beneath layers of official narratives? The hope is mingled with dread. With every new discovery, the possibility of unveiling a suppressed history grows stronger. Yet, so does the danger. Powerful forces benefit from the silence, from the continued obscurity of Tartaria's existence. Governments, secret societies, and academic institutions may have had their reasons rooted in control, in rewriting history to serve particular agendas. But these recent findings threaten to peel away those layers, exposing inconvenient truths that could shake the foundations of the modern world. And yet, as intelligent minds delve into these mysteries, as the digital age fuels a renaissance of curiosity, it becomes clear. The story of Tartaria is not just about lost civilizations. It's about reclaiming our history, our identity, our understanding of what is possible. These discoveries are more than mere artifacts. They're echoes. Voices insisting that the narrative we've been told is incomplete, perhaps deliberately so. Could these echoes be trying to tell us something vital? That the truth of Tartaria's existence has been concealed, suppressed, erased, because it holds answers to questions humanity is only beginning to ask? The shadows lengthen, and the screen darkens with the weight of these thoughts. The last image is a blurred satellite shot of a landscape, revealing a shape, something familiar, yet unexplainable, an outline hinting at grandeur buried beneath centuries of earth and forgetfulness. It's an invitation, an echo from the past, a silent call to look deeper, to question everything. Because sometimes, the silence speaks the loudest. And behind that silence are truths waiting to resurface. The story is far from over. The question lingers. Are we finally close enough to see the shadows of Tartaria in the daylight? Or are we still veiled in layers of deception? As the screen fades to black, the haunting realization persists. The past is never truly gone. It waits in ruins, in carvings, in whispers carried by the wind. And maybe, just maybe, these modern discoveries aren't just uncovering remnants of an ancient civilization. They're awakening something long suppressed within us all. The echoes of Tartaria are trying to be heard again, no matter how deeply they have tried to be erased. The shadows of history stretch long, fading into the obscure corners of our collective memory. We look around, searching for echoes of bygone eras, hoping to unearth remnants of the mysterious Tartarian civilization, long believed to have vanished from the pages of mainstream history. But what if its influence didn't entirely disappear? What if the myth, the legends, and the architectural echoes still reverberate in the fabric of our modern culture, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered? As we delve deeper into the labyrinth of history and myth, the patterns reveal themselves, similar designs etched into the facades of buildings in distant cities, reminiscent shapes in the artworks that adorn our museums, and legends that, despite the passage of centuries, still whisper stories of grandeur and mysticism. These symbols and styles seem to transcend borders, languages, and epochs, hinting at a shared, albeit obscured, cultural footprint that might trace back to Tartarian roots. Imagine standing beneath a colossal, ornate archway in a sprawling city, its intricate carvings and geometric patterns echoing descriptions of Tartarian architecture. A grandeur that defies simple craftsmanship. A monument to an age of engineering mastery lost to time. The stonework tells stories of a civilization that seemingly fused art and science, religion and power, all in stone. Such structures, scattered across the globe, do they merely resemble one another by coincidence, or are they, perhaps, part of a larger, hidden mosaic? The influence seeps into our modern myths and narratives. Take, for example, the recurring theme of lost civilizations, Atlantis, Mu, or Lemuria, names whispered across the cultural landscape, perpetuated in books, films, and online forums. Are these stories mere fantasies, or are they reflections of collective memories? Fragments of a collective consciousness acknowledging a civilization that once bridged worlds, Tartaria? Could the grand tales of ancient, technologically advanced societies be distortions of truth, distorted echoes of Tartarian knowledge and achievement? There's a fascinating resonance in the symbols that persist across time. The double-headed eagles, intricate star patterns, and geometric motifs that appear in alchemical texts, heraldic crests, and sacred architecture worldwide. These symbols, believed by some to carry esoteric knowledge, might be remnants of a universal language, a shared cultural legacy of Tartarian explorers, architects, and scholars whose knowledge was carried across continents, silenced by time and the perversion of history. Historical records, fragmented and often manipulated, offer only a shadow of the truth. Modern archaeology, in its quest for clarity, seems to overlook or dismiss these similarities, perhaps because they threaten a sanitized version of history. But when we examine these parallels alongside legends and myths, a picture begins to emerge. One in which Tartarian influence was more widespread and ingrained in our civilization than previously acknowledged. In cityscapes, the architecture touts a style that resists easy explanation, massive, symmetrical, and adorned with symbols that appear linked to sacred geometries. These structures stand as silent witnesses to a past civilization, perhaps torn apart by a cataclysmic event or systematically erased. Their design echoes the same principles found in many ancient cultures, From the pyramids of Egypt to the temples of Southeast Asia, geometrical perfection and an emphasis on harmony that suggest a shared knowledge seldom spoken of openly. The mythology surrounding Tartaria often intertwines with religious and philosophical traditions. Its stories speak of a technologically advanced society that thrived on spiritual enlightenment, harnessing energies and principles misunderstood or deliberately concealed in modern times. Could it be that this civilization possessed scientific knowledge so advanced that it challenged the fundamental beliefs of subsequent rulers, leading to its suppression? And if so, are some of those suppressed truths still woven into the fabric of our culture? In recent years, the rediscovery and declassification of ancient texts, along with the revival of historical legends, have sparked a fascination with these lost civilizations. Underground communities and researchers delve into obscure archives, piecing together clues and exposing similarities that mainstream sources dismiss. Their explorations reveal a startling pattern. Many ancient monuments and legends mirror what we find in the myths of Tartaria, a civilization whose influence endures silently, embedded within the architecture of cities, beliefs, and symbols. This silent footprint is not merely a matter of aesthetics. It's a subtle form of cultural memory, a collective imprint that challenges our understanding of history. Could the reason we are so obsessed with discovering new ancient sites and deciphering symbols be because we are seeking to reconnect with this lost knowledge? Do our myths of utopias and golden ages echo Tartarian ideals, a society that once integrated technology, spirituality, and harmony? Contemplating this broader picture, the idea crystallizes. Our current culture might be an incomplete mosaic, a patchwork quilt incomplete without the pieces of Tartary. The legends, the symbols, and the architectural echoes are clues, shadows of a sector of history deliberately obscured. The question that remains, haunting and persistent, is whether there's an active effort to erase this part of our collective memory or if it lies dormant, waiting to be reassembled by those daring enough to look beyond the official narratives. Through this lens, every ornate building, every mysterious symbol, and every myth becomes a piece of a greater puzzle. A story still unfolding beneath the surface of modern society, whispering stories of lost knowledge, suppressed advances, and a civilization that once reached heights we are only beginning to comprehend. The influence of Tartaria, whether real, myth, or something in between, leaves a cryptic imprint, a cultural legacy woven into the very fabric of our built environment and storytelling traditions. It's a quiet but persistent reminder that history is not just what is written but also what is silently left behind, encoded in the stones we walk upon and the stories we tell ourselves. In the end, the question lingers: are we willing to look beneath the surface of what we know? To re-examine the symbols, the architecture, and the legends that define us? Because perhaps, hidden in those echoes, is a key to understanding a larger truth. A truth that might finally bridge the gap between the legends of Tartaria and the reality of our present. As the shadows of history stretch long and deep, what if the pages we thought we knew had turned differently? Imagine a world where Tartaria, the vast empire cloaked in mystery and conjecture, never faded into obscurity but persisted, evolving, influencing, shaping the very fabric of civilization in ways we can only dare to imagine. What if the sprawling steppes and colossal structures, the enigmatic remnants that defy our understanding, remained alive, pulsing with innovation and power? And what kind of world would we be living in today? Envision this. The silhouette of gigantic stone towers and sprawling cities, reminiscent of the legends whispered through the ages. Monuments that blend technology with art, science with spirituality. Instead of the fragmented nations we recognize, there exists a sprawling federation rooted in Tartarian principles, a civilization that perhaps harnessed energy sources unknown to us, tapping into the Earth's own latent power. Could it be that their mastery over electromagnetic forces or geoenergy shaped not just their cities but also their societies, weaving harmony between nature and machinery? What if their dominance persisted into the modern era, circumventing the tumultuous upheavals that fractured history in our timeline? In this alternate continuity, technological evolution takes a different trajectory. Instead of the Industrial Revolution sparking chaos or imbalance, perhaps Tartarian insight catalyzed an era of sustainable progress. Imagine aircraft capable of silent, magnetic levitation, powered by energy derived directly from the Earth's core, settings for their sky cities, floating above pristine landscapes untouched by pollution. These innovations, born from an understanding of Earth's deeper energies, could have led to a world where warfare was rendered obsolete, replaced by cooperation rooted in shared knowledge and spiritual harmony. Geopolitically, the landscape would be unrecognizable. Power centers would be not centralized in distant capitals but distributed across interconnected manifolds of knowledge and energy hubs, vast, geopolitically neutral zones where technology and culture meld seamlessly. Borders might blur or even dissolve as previously isolated cultures fused into a cohesive global consciousness, grounded in the ancient wisdom of Tartaria but focusing forward, an ethos of progress without conquest. A unified society could thrive, driven by collective insight rather than competition, perhaps leading to a world where economic disparity and social unrest are relics of a past era, confined to the shadows of history. Yet, what drove this persistence of Tartaria? Was it a matter of resilience against the forces that sought to erase it, or perhaps an unforeseen consequence of their technological and spiritual pursuits? Did their grand structures serve not only as symbols of power but as gateways, portals to deeper realms of consciousness or sources of unending energy? Could their architects have hidden within those massive edifices secrets that would challenge our understanding of reality itself? Evidence of science that borders on the mystical, consciousness that extends beyond the physical? Perhaps their history was not a story of decline but an ongoing saga, a continuous thread connecting ancient ingenuity with modern awakening. In such a world, the fabric of history we've been told begins to unravel. The narratives of lost civilizations and alleged fallen empires give way to a story of survival, adaptation, and mastery. Could it be that the silence around Tartaria is itself a safeguard, a veil cast over a truth so profound that revealing it could destabilize our current grasp on reality? Maybe their surviving descendants, or the echoes of their technology, still influence our world in subtle, unseen ways, guiding us toward a future we are only beginning to comprehend. And as we peer into this alternative universe, questions multiply. Was the Great Reset, the far-reaching shifts in geopolitics and economics, a disturbance in a longer-standing equilibrium? Did the technological revolutions we so eagerly chase, AI, quantum computing, space exploration, align with Tartarian legacies, inadvertently rekindling ancient energies? Could our own history be a fragmented mosaic, pieced together haphazardly, missing vital shards of a truth about a civilization that once balanced power and enlightenment? Imagining this world invites us to reconsider the notion of historical progress. It challenges us to think beyond the linear narrative we are presented, of rising, falling, and rebuilding. Perhaps it uncovers the possibility that some civilizations, like Tartaria, never truly disappeared but entered a different realm of existence, hidden in plain sight, guiding us softly from the shadows when we are ready to see. Their legacy may still be embedded within our architecture, within the mysterious alignments of sacred sites, and within the subconscious collective yearning for harmony and knowledge. In contemplating these alternate realities, we confront the profound question: what if the history we cherish is only a fragment, a mask hiding the true story of humanity's potential? And in this reflection, we are called to look inward, to seek the unseen, and to recognize that perhaps the future we forge depends on awakening to these buried truths. Because if Tartaria endured, if their influence persisted, then our world is richer, more mysterious, and more interconnected than we could possibly comprehend. Our narrative is still being written, layered with forgotten chapters, waiting for us to rediscover the echoes they tried to erase.